Hey Scrappers! I'm back and with the tutorial that I promised you guys on making paper roses. And after doing my first paper rose, I started doing a ton more, and I'll show you those at the end of this video. And I found out the way I like it the best is I use 5 petals, and I cut them from this EK Success Punch. And it is a 5-petal flower, and so I cut it out of just regular plain old white cardstock that you can get at Michael's or at Hobby Lobby or Joann's. It's just like the regular plain cardstock, nothing special. And so I have I cut 5 petals out already, and I colored them with my new Blue Smoke Perfect Pearl Mist by Ranger that I got in my bottle swap from Maricela. So I'm so excited to use this. I love this. And then I misted all 5 petals, and this is like the shimmer that you get. Can you see? There you go. You see this really pretty shimmer, and it's more of a shimmer than it is of than like an actual color. Like it doesn't. You're not just painting the flower, but you can like paint it a nice blue color if you wanted, and then spray this over it to get that nice shimmer. If you were using black cardstock, you would get more of the actual color, and it wouldn't be as sheer. So I did that, and then to add more color to it, I distressed the edges with my Faded Jeans Distress ink, and I went ahead and did 4 of the petals already, and then I'm going to go ahead and do this last one with you guys, and just pick whichever side you want that you like the most, or you can do both sides if you want. Whichever one is your center petal, I would do both sides. You know what I mean by that, right? Like your center. Now you can go ahead and do both sides or not. The top 2 layers, I'm going to do both sides with the Distress ink. I already started on one side, so I'm just going to go ahead and I'm using Tim Holtz Distress ink applicator, and I prefer the foam pads instead of the felt pads. I think they work much better. And so I'm going to go ahead and do this. It's very, very easy. I might need to zoom down for you guys. Let's see here. That might be easier for you guys to see me. There we go. And then I'm just gonna go ahead until you get your desired color. And it makes a really cool like two-tone effect. There's not a whole ton of tools I use in this. I do use a glue gun to adhere the flowers together. It just dries a lot faster, you know, when you're layering your petals so they don't move on you while you're layering. And I use the Sure Bonder detail tip. I really like that one because you use less glue. Okay, so that's all you're really doing. You're just, you know, coloring the tips of them. You can even take it across the whole thing, and it's still, the shimmer still comes in at the tip. So you're not gonna not get shimmer on the tip, but you are gonna get the darker color as well. So the Perfect Pearl Mist is just a really, really cool product. So I'm so excited to start using it. It was the first time I've used it too. I can't wait to order all the other colors. The other products that or the other tools that I use for this is I use a, you can use like a needle nose pliers, or there's pliers in the jewelry section at your craft stores that have the rounded tip, and that's what I use to curl the petals. Or you can use the back of a paintbrush, and for this tutorial I think I'll use a back of the paintbrush for you guys, since most people have paintbrushes. And you want to use like a medium paintbrush. You don't want one that's super thick, because then your curls won't be as tight. I'm just going to do the back side of this flower. I didn't mean to be off camera, but I'm sure you guys know how to do this. And my ink pad's more on the dry side, so that's why it seems like I keep going back. That would be why. A couple more petals. And then for the center of the flower, to mold the center, I use the back of a mini mister, or you can use anything that's similar in diameter. And depending on your flowers, you want something that's slightly smaller than the center of your flower when you start molding. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start with that. So like I said, I use the back of the mini mister, and I start with the petal that it's going to be the rosebud in the center first. And I am already 7 minutes into this, guys, so the rest of this should be fairly quickly. So I just take this part right here, and then you want each petal to overlap the one before it in a pattern all the way around, and then you just smush it down. And then you see all the points, I smush those points down too. It just makes it a lot easier when you're putting it together. And then I would take it apart, and then as long as you have everyone overlapping, then you just take it and you kind of smush it around. Okay. And what you're doing is you're just making it into like a cone or a little triangle shape, like so. I don't know if you can see that. And if it seems like it's getting too crinkly, or like if you might have creased the petals and you don't like it, just take a smaller, like a pen, the back of a pen, or a thicker brush or something, and you can kind of mold to make the petals a little more rounder instead of creased. And then I would just stick a tiny bit of glue in the center, just right down in there, just so your petal stays somewhat closed. And then just hold it until it's dry. Okay, and then the next one is you do the same thing. You go ahead and you overlap the ends, and then you just smush down all the corners, and you do the exact same thing. Where you close it all up. Except you do not use the glue on this part. Another thing you can do, another tip is if you want the petals to be easier to close, you can also take a paintbrush or the back of a pen or anything and kind of just roll the petal like that. It does make it easier to close. And I would do that after you smush the center. That way it's just like this. You want to go under all the way around. And then again form your cone shape. Just like that. Except you're not going to glue this one. You're just going to let it open up like that. Then the rest of them are a lot easier. You just kind of, like, I would just take the palm of your hand and just kind of smush it. And that's it. You don't have to worry about folding or none of that stuff. All you're doing is just trying to get it so it's shaped upwards. Okay, so you got those. Now you start with your gluing your very first one, and you want the petals to be opposite. You want them to overlap and layer in between each other. So you just stick a little hot glue down. And careful guys, the glue gun is hot. Very careful not to burn yourself. And then, there we go. And then you just smush it down. And then for the very center part, once it's dry, I place a very tiny bit of glue, if you can see, right around this edge part right here. Around that just a little bit. Just so you can kind of keep these petals nice and tight. And you just hold it until it's dry. And then it should just be slightly open. You just want to hold it. Hey guys, I'm going to turn the camera some. For some reason I'm not in the camera view. Okay, that's much better. Okay, and then you're going to get something sort of like that. So that's the center of your flower. And then you're going to start with the bottom 3 layers. And it really doesn't matter, you just pick the one that you want on the very bottom. And then put some glue down. And then again, you're overlapping. Just like so. Making sure everything's centered and is overlapped. And then just wait till the glue's dry, which it shouldn't take very long. And then you do the very next petal. Again, overlapping again. So it should line up with the first petal that's underneath it. And then there's your bottom part. You see you have 3 layers. And then you do the same thing with, you take the first center part with the last 3 petals. Put a little bit of glue down. And put a little bit more than that. Okay. Put a little bit of glue down. And then again, make sure that your petals they overlap. So it's every other. And then you make sure it's also centered, and then you just hold it down until it is dry. And then this is where it starts to really take shape, guys. Now you're done with your glue gun. Now I would take, like my fist right here, press down so you have all the petals going upwards as much as possible. And do this however much you want. You're not going to mess up the petals at all doing this part, so. And then you take the back of a thin brush, and then you just start rolling your petals. You just take your thumb and put it on the petal, and then you roll slightly back. Just a little. You do that with all your petals all the way around. And again, because you sprayed it, it will hold its shape. You can bend it as far back as you want. And this is where you can fiddle with it because you use the glue gun, hot glue, that it's dry and you don't have to worry about it falling apart while you're doing this. So I go ahead and then that's your bottom part so far. Now you can always fiddle with it when you're done and push it up if you want more dimension. And then really pretty part right now is that you've got that second layer that's on the top. I kind of go on the side of the petal a little bit, still on the top but a little more on the side, like that. And the side that's, you know, open. And then I go all the way around all the petals. And then I'm just curling this layer right here a little bit more. You can also heat set the ink when you're done if you want to, because if it's not dry, it's not going to be very firm. But that's it, guys. That's my paper rose. You can add more layers if you want, or not, but it really looks good with 5 layers. I wouldn't add any less than 5, because then the flower just doesn't look that full. And then, like I said, if you want to push it up some and just, you know, fiddle with it, you can. But really, it's that simple. That's all there is to it. And then you have a paper rose. Okay, guys, thanks so much for watching. Happy scrapping. Oh, real quick, I know this video is really long already, but I did want to show you some of my other paper flowers. As soon as I find where they went, here they are. Okay, here are some of the other paper roses I had done, and I'll go ahead and show you. Okay, I'm going to zoom out a little bit so you guys can see. Okay. And then the original one. The original one was done a bit different because it was my first one. And if you want it that full, all you do is, when making the 5 layers, you just, you add maybe 1 or 2 more layers. And like I said, this one, isn't as high. Some of these are higher, and that's all just because if you're bending this part right here. If you just bend that up higher, it will be higher. And you're not damaging the flower at all. So if you wanted it to be fuller, this is all you have to do. And just kind of squeezing it, and then you go back in and you bend your petals down, or do it before you bend your petals. That's all. It's very, very simple. Once you bend your petals, you can kind of get their shape back just with your fingers. So you know. So there, that has a little bit more dimension. But I made this one using Lindy's Stamp Gang Moonshadow Mist. This one was using, I don't remember what I used to spray this one with, guys. I'm sorry. But it is really, really pretty. Oh, I painted this one with my, some precious metal paint. And then this one I painted with Lindy's Stamp Gang mica powders. It's kind of a really deep, dark purple. And This one is just sprayed with some chalkboard glimmer mist. And this one's also painted with chalkboard glimmer mist, mint chocolate chip, so that's why it looks like there's two colors. And this is another one. And then this is just plain old cardstock, just two different colors. And then the black one is also painted with chalkboard glimmer mist in the black or turquoise color. And that's it, guys. That's all of them. Thanks so much for watching. Happy scrapping. Bye.